Okay, so tight end, Peyton Hendershot, guys.
Yeah,
someone
gone.
Someone that we were high on, met his family walking through SoFi Stadium.
Kissed his sister.
Kissed his, that was his brother, dude.
Oh, kissed his brother.
But Peyton
He had long hair.
But Peyton Hendershot traded to the Chiefs. I don't hate it. Get something for an undrafted guy. You know, the tight end room was, Hendershot might have not even made the team last year if John
Stevens
Jr. doesn't get hurt. So
no,
trade him, get something from him. They actually were going to waive him, and the Chiefs snuck in and threw a little late round pick for him. So
good. And you know what? Get something for the guy if he's not going to be on the team. And I would say that about any player, obviously. Like, you hope you get something for him in return. I think Hendershot needs his Hendershot in the NFL.
goes on and ends up replacing Travis Kelce for the next 10 years,
I would
being a Hall of Famer. And then you got Alec Holler. Don't even remember seeing him. And then Princeton Fant waived who guys jacked in person.
A prerequisite. The Chiefs saw him and said, "Hey, he kind of looks like Travis Kelce. He has that same kind of type of clone zone build. Let's draft him on. Let's draft him on in.
Let's
trade him.
Let's get.
You mean trade him?
Let's draft him on in through a trade.
Draft him on in. Draft the undrafted guy.
Let's draft him on in through a trade.
Get them in the shower together. Let's see how they work together.
Let's see if they're going to meet gays.
Holler and Fant, two nice guys to have on the waiver wire. Both of those guys, I don't know, a bus.
Fant, I think, made the practice squad since Jenkins.
He did. And we're not going to have to be dipping into the abyss to be like, who the can we pull up
Well,
here?
let's look at these bullseye ends.
Tight ends. Ooh, the bullseye ends.
Okay. I like this. I like this, man.
We got Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoonmaker, John Stevens Jr. the third. I just threw that in. And Brevin Spann-Ford made the team over Hendershot. So they
over Hendershot, over Fant.
So I think they must have seen that Hendershot was a lesser version of a Ferguson or a Schooner and didn't bring to the table what Stevens Jr. did, or maybe he was a lesser of Stevens Jr., but definitely didn't bring to the table what Brevin Spann-Ford does.
Where
is a sailboat, stupid head?
Can I give my first bold prediction?
Yep.
John Stevens Jr. finishes with better stats than Luke Schoonmaker.
I don't think that's a hot take, but it is a hot take.
It is a hot take. But
in our room.
In our room. But when one's undrafted and one's a second-round pick?
Hot take. 100%. And that's... I think it's very probable that happens.
I'm saying better stats. Maybe Schoonmaker gets more reps. I just think Stevens has that it factor more than Schoonmaker does, just by watching him.
Schoonmaker may also be more valuable in terms of what he offers to the team with his blocking, perhaps.
I do like the fact that if Jake Ferguson were to go down, you could insert John Stevens Jr. into Jake Ferguson's role. And, of course, there's going to be fall-off because Ferg's a dog. But I do like Schoonmaker has his role on the team. But did we draft the guy at 2 to be a blocker?
No, I think this actually makes sense because no, we didn't. But Ferguson's last season was a little bit of a surprise to everyone, I think.
Oh, totally.
Except for Jake Ferguson, I'm sure, and the Ferguson family. But I think you're right. Stevens Jr. is the backup to Ferguson, but can still get some playing time. Brevin Spann-Ford is the backup to Schoonmaker, who is a sailboat, and we've got 4 tight ends.
And what's Spann-Ford? A Ford?
He's a Ford.
He's a car.
Wow, it's a scooter.
It would have been so much cooler if his name was Brevin Ferrari Ford.
Brevin Spann, and then the Ford just lets everybody know he's American.
Yep. So offensive line's the last.
Offensive lineman here. Whoa, here we go.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Cole Cabral.
Don't know these guys except for Josh Ball. He's off the team. Well,
practice squad,
but off the starting lineup. And he was a kind of a staple for the last 2 years.
He's been there. He's been balling around.
So. Do you think Dak Prescott walked over to Dakota Shepley and with a cigarette in his mouth said, "There can only be one"?
No, he said, "You're lucky you spelled it with a D, not a T.
Crack him if you got him,
son."
He's like, "Change your fucking
Actually,
name."
Dak would have done it with a nice smile. He's like, "Hey, appreciate everything you've done out there on that O-line."
But he's squeezing.
Or he
really
said
hard.
he said you have to go by either Coda or Oda.
Yeah, Coda's not a bad name. Oh, hey, Coda Shep's in the house, babe.
Coda Sheps would be all right. One we're gonna see here. I know he'll probably have.
We'll get to defense too, but we'll move quick.
What about this guy's Cooper Beebe?
Yeah,
Locked the spot, and we weren't sold on that
starting center.
How much better does that make that third round extra pick.
Looking tough.
Now that he beat out a guy that's been there for a couple of years.
Well,
Yeah,
look,
it's great. If we said if the Dallas Cowboys decide he's the number one and he's on the offensive line, he was an offensive draft pick, then he absolutely deserves that spot.
Oh, for sure.
yeah, they're not going to make a decision, I don't think. And we've seen it with some of these cuts where they draft a player and are afraid to not play him because of the
Draft
position
status.
he was drafted. Exactly. Brock Hoffman, lots of love for this guy. Went on our boy Big Chris's podcast. We love Big Chris. We love that he gave him his time. So lots of love for Hoffman. But I think it's a good thing that BB overtook him and showcased more talent and is going to be that starting center because
He won the position.
let's say he's just as good as Biad is, right? That's like
Formidable.
formidable and completely acceptable. And he's so young that who knows his growth in his second and third year. He's definitely going to grow as a player. And if he doesn't, then that's a problem. And they wouldn't have drafted him in the first place. But really nice to see that because you couple that with Tyler Guyton coming in on the left tackle role now that Edoga's out. And it was even, I don't know if it correlated on the same week perhaps, but it was a couple of weeks ago where they announced BB and Guyton were going to be the starters in those positions. So I personally, as I said before, a Madden mindset for a GM. I love that you get your starting, your first and third round pick into the starting lineup, and let's hope that they solidify themselves there. Now we can look forward 10 years for these guys just being on the team.
Well, sorry, just real quick. Just before, like last year, we talked about wanting guys to play that got drafted. We had 0 starters from last year's draft. This year, you have BB, Guyton, and Kalen Carson all starting.
So far.
That's pretty sick.
I mean, Overshone would have been a starter last year. So technically,
He would have, fringe starter.
Boots says, bro, BB and Guyton starting makes the Cowboys look better than Kevin Costner in draft day.
Whoa.
Them both starting, that they were both part of a draft day moment.
Yeah, draft day.
So
Sure.
sweet.
It is a draft day moment. Let me just finish this
Yeah, go for it.
list off. Left tackle, Awesome Richards. Right tackle, Terrence Steele. Right tackle, Wingspan Maletzko.
thank you.
Still on the team somehow.
Fucking
He's
just
tall. He's
fight.
big.
Hey, the long reach is holding on.
That bird span. Left guard, Tyler Smith and TJ Bass. And right guard, of
Only
course.
one right guard on the team.
That's all you need.
There's so much position being like there's so much flexibility with this squad that they have that if someone gets injured, they can shift the way around
That's
the
right.
line to get the best 5 guys out there.
Jenkins says that he believes BB's going to be right guard next year because I mean we've heard it a couple times that everyone's saying that this could be Zach Martin's last year, and then if that happens, BB would shift to right guard, and maybe he's just buying time as center. But if he kills it as center, then you're just going to be replacing the
They
right
drafted
guard.
him to be a center. He made it as a center.
I would say this though: if BB performs to a high level like Tyler Smith did at left guard,
Then he stays.
he will stay at center, and they'll look to replace the right guard when they do. But here, my perspective is this: you need 2 studs on your offensive line, and the rest you can sort out through free agency or drafting late and developing players. And the Cowboys have continued to keep this in with Zach Martin. Now, here's the thing for this year. We do have a lot of questions. Oh, sorry, Zach Martin and Tyler Smith. Sorry. Those are the 2 guys. But if you remove Zach Martin, then we have Terrence Steele, who knows if he returns to his 2022 form.
Awesome.
And then
Richards.
And then Cooper BB or Tyler Guyton show up. Now we've got 3 studs on the line.
Yeah.
So
You just need one of those 3 guys, in my mind, out of Terrence Steele, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Guyton. If one of those guys can play unreal, you have 3 of your 5 dudes are battle tested.
because two anchors are gonna raise the tide, if you will.
But I mean, if you look at our left side, if Tyler Guyton can
Who he is. And he looked great.
He looked great. Yeah. If he can perform at the level that we're all hoping he can, center to like the left side is pretty deadly. So then,
And then
if you're
right side, you got
You got Zach Martin.
I think about so if Martin goes down,
Don't say that.
then
I'll slap
the
you
right
right
side
now.
then the right side is a big worry. But
Well,
because
yeah, they don't even have a backup right guard on,
I know.
on
so
the team
so
right
so
now.
so
BB might
but
slide
yeah, then
there.
I bet you they would slide BB over,
Slide to your
BB
left.
over,
Slide to your right.
and then Brock Hoffman is a center.
So I'll tell you this: the best person that has a chance to succeed right now is Cooper Beebe, and you know why? Because he's got Tyler Smith and Zach Martin beside him.
Yeah.
Right. Terrence Steele's out on an island.
Yep.
And Tyler Guyton's out on an island, essentially. right.
But you're right, they're out on an island, but they also have very solid guards that they cannot have to worry so much
They
about
can.
that.
They can. The guard. They
They
can
can
see
cheat a
read,
little,
yeah.
perhaps.